hearing July 16, 2018, in the Forest Park. The business at hand is to consider the proposed 2019 tax budget. So we will need to chair and
Introduce. This is a preliminary or draft budget for next year. It allows the county to review our information and start the process of certifying rates that cover our jurisdiction. So I'll let her give you the details.
The 2019 tax budget is our preliminary budget, and it's just to levy our property tax. We did take a look at our existing 5-year plan, and we rolled it forward, and we were able to balance all the funds except for the general fund. And the general fund is off a little under $1 million. We have found even some more details that need to be run through. We'll need some input from department heads. A lot of our expenditures have slowly incremented up, so it will take us talking to the directors to kind of tailor make a cut down plan rather than doing kind of across the board cuts. It's going to be more like a orchestrated, customized tailoring of scaling back our expenditures that aren't related to personnel. So it's embedded in the contractual services and supplies and materials line items as well as capital. So capital will be scaled way back. But I believe we can make that up.
questions, comments?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Did you say $1 million?
Yes. It's a little less than that. It's not quite $1 million.
Arlene, you might put in perspective of what our, not so much our typical, but the range that we may start a preliminary budget, because $1 million sounds very large, but it's not as large as what it, some of the starting points we've had.
We've had as much as a $3 million gap, which is hard for us to absorb. But $1 million after we've done, and we've put just about that much into capital, but it is hard for me as the finance director to just go in and strip out capital projects without talking to all the department heads, and we as a group, which we've done before, scale back our appropriations, and $1 million in a $13 million budget is not a hard task to scale back.
Get some perspective on this. I know from working with school districts that typically when you're planning out for multi-year budgets, you will typically build in anticipated increases in revenue and anticipated increases in budget, and say, so much percentage per year. And that's how this expenditure has gotten sort of out of range, is that the predictions were probably overinflated to begin with, to some extent.
To craft it in a way that lay people can understand, what we need to do is a comparison to actuals, to where we're budgeted at right now, and control and scale it back to more of what we actually spend than having incremental increases based upon previous budgets. Periodically, you have to scale, you have to kind of use actuals to rein in your appropriations. Does that make better sense of, and that's what, it's hard to describe to you how we do that, but each expert in their particular department is who I rely on to say, look, I'm looking at actuals and your appropriations seem to be out of line with that. Can we cut that back or cut that down? And they will be told at the beginning, and we've done this before, what our gap is, so that they come in not asking for mass amounts of more money, but telling me where I can cut theirs back without causing a program to stop or cutting down on services.
Anybody else? Just using again as an example, in the running of my office, when we had to submit our budgets to the state, always, I don't think any of us ever submitted a budget that says we're gonna, we need $5 million. Even if all we needed was $4 million, we were gonna ask for 5.5 or 6.
Correct.
Because,
Correct.
our thinking was, if we don't ask for it now and we need it later, then we probably won't get it then. We got a better chance to get it up front, even if we have to back off a little bit, than we have of asking later.
Correct.
So I guess I say that to say, it's not like we're out, that our departments are out there throwing away money.
No, they're
At
not.
all. I mean, this is
No.
not what this is about. Anything else from anybody else? Anybody from the audience? Hearing none? Public hearing is adjourned. Now, we have about 9 minutes.
Okay.
Before
Thank you. I appreciate you all.
call to order City of Forest Park, City Council meeting number 1318, July 16, 2018. Let us stand for the pledge, please. Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Burns.
Here.
Collins.
Here.
Herbie.
Here.
Holt.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Nuss.
Let the record show that all council members are present and accounted for. Next item on the agenda, the minutes. You should all have received a copy of the minutes. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, minutes will stand approved as presented. Item number 3, presentation, business of the month, Omnifonplex, Paul Brum.
Mayor, members of council, thank you very much. I think this was one of those projects that was a pleasant surprise to many of us. We knew for months that Hari Prasadi and his team were looking to redevelop what used to be the former Kmart building over on Omniplex Drive. He actually invested probably close to $1.5 million to do a renovation of 40,000 square feet of that space to put in a new state-of-the-art family and corporate entertainment center. I say both because this is not intended just for a family entertainment center. It's meant to be a true gathering place for the community. People of all ages to gather, have a good time. There's a restaurant in there. There's 10 bowling lanes. There is a trampoline park, which I don't know about you, but I stayed away from the trampoline park when I was over there. That just had trouble written all over it for me. But a laser tag area, gaming, arcades. I mean, this is a really nice complex. I think all of us who attended the grand opening and the open house were very surprised to see just how much work went into this. What I was also surprised as, this is actually going to employ 100 full and part-time positions as a result of this complex, is what they estimate. Now, they're ramping up to that, but you obviously have a kitchen area, a restaurant area, all the different gaming areas. So when you think about each of those pods having a group of employees associated with them, you can see how they get to that number rather quickly. We're very excited about this project. I think it gives us an opportunity to do a redevelopment at that particular building. As all of you know, that site's been a tough one to redevelop because it's kind of tucked away behind CarMax and sits adjacent to Home Depot. And while it has a nice location by the interstate, there's really not any visibility there. So to have a true destination go in there, I think it's a great first step. I know that Mr. Prasadi and his team are looking to redevelop the remainder of the building and they're in discussions right now with a couple of different options on that. So I think it's a good start for us. It ended up being a great partnership. We're looking forward to working with them. I will make sure, unfortunately, Mr. Prasadi, I was going to say, I told the mayor he has people in from out of town, but it's actually not even out of town. His parents are in from out of the country, so he couldn't be with us tonight, but I will make sure that Harry and his team get the award This is a nice project, and one that we didn't really, we didn't have to put a great deal of incentive or anything into this. They took this on themselves, really did a nice project. So I think it's a good first start from us. We look forward to working with them and would encourage everyone, if you're looking for a place for a birthday party or a corporate gathering or just to get together with some friends, this is a great opportunity. So we're fortunate to have them.
Thanks, Paul. We'll go to the next item, item number 4, communications from the public. This is a time for citizens to comment on matters before council or to ask questions of concerns to them. When recognized, please come forward to the podium, give your name and address, and then state your comments or questions. Council meetings are tape recorded for ease of transcription. Comments are limited to 5 minutes. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address the council? Would you come forward and sign in and tell us who you are and where you live?
My name is L.B. Harrison. I live at 11717 Elkwood Drive here in the city. Just celebrated 47 years living there. And I have a complaint to the city. I know we have rules. I've been here before because I feel like our particular community has been the redheaded stepchild of this city since I've lived there. And we have a situation on the street where a home was torn down as you turn off Cedar Creek onto Elkwood, about 3 doors down, is a lot where a house once stood. The hydraulic shovel is still sitting in that lot. Weeds have grown up all around the shovel. There's concrete sitting in that lot. It was never excavated or cleared. I spotted one of your city inspectors on the street one day when I was leaving home. I waved him down and pointed out that shovel sitting there. I don't know if the kids could turn it into a jungle gym, I guess. But it's been sitting there over a year. We have enough problems in our neighborhood. We've had empty houses that you all have given property to and tore down. Across the street and 2 doors down is another empty house with high weeds. A house next to it, I think somebody lives there. The weeds are growing up, that the weeds are blossoming in the yard. Do we have anybody that looks at yards and looks at places like this, or have we just been abandoned down there and forgotten about?
Yes, our property maintenance department, the community development department does have a list of housing where the grass is over the height limit, and we either the city cuts it on a periodic basis if the owners don't, or we contract out with independent contractors who cut it also.
Well, the person I spoke to said the man that owned that equipment is somebody that you all have hired, and he does quite a bit of your business as far as there's homes or blighted homes, some you're tearing down.
Well,
I don't understand anybody that leaves a piece of equipment like that sitting in a yard with weeds growing up around it for over a year.
Well, I can't
Why it's still
address,
sitting
if you can tell me who the person is who owns it.
I don't know who owns it.
Well, you said-
Your employee told me he knew. The
Well,
city inspector that I spoke to said he knows the man that owns it, and he would call him and have him come get it. Well, he hasn't, and that's been over a month ago, and it still hasn't been moved.
what I'm asking you is the name of that city employee.
I don't know his name. He was driving by in his white car, a city car. I stopped him, pointed out the lot, and I said, "Can you do something about this?" He said he would call the man that owned the equipment, and he'd have it moved. It has not been moved. That lot is still an overgrown weed patch, and it's in a blight. Like I said, we got enough problems. We don't need more of it. And I'm sorry, we used to call this a planned community, the city of Forest Park was a planned community. Right now, you've got a planned slum, because I've been here 47 years to take care of my place. I take pride in it. I take pride in this city. I would have left here a long time ago if I didn't. And I'm just tired of us having to sit there and look at this mess. Evidently, nobody cares. And I've looked on Zillow at homes in this city, and there's very few that are listed. A whole lot of foreclosed, abandoned, auctioned homes in this town. If you want the city to grow, council, something has to be done to bring pride back into this community and take care of the properties we have. Nobody wants to move here if they're all around you as empty houses. That speaks volumes about who we are as a community. And that's all I'm saying. I just want that thing moved and that yard cleaned up. I live there, I pay my taxes, have for 47 years, and I don't think I'm asking anything unfairly. Normally, all the other homes that have been tore down there's been 9 or about 11 homes have been tore down in our community. Every one of them at least had the lots excavated and grass sown in them. So we didn't have to look at that mess And we've been looking at that for over a year.
Mr. Hodges, would you make a note to check with the building department on that, the property maintenance people? City manager will make note of that and contact the property maintenance people to try to find out who owns it and what can be done about the disposition of it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public want to address the council? Seeing no one, thank you. We'll move to item number 5, report of standing committees. First standing committee is Public Safety Committee, Councilwoman Nuss.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Last week, Citizens on Patrol met, and in that meeting, some folks from the from Public Safety had a presentation where we talked about the revival of a neighborhood block watch. That presentation and that meeting and discussion with Citizens on Patrol went very well, and so we are moving forward in the planning phases of that. So you all can stay tuned on that. You'll hear more about that in the coming weeks, and also at our community day with exactly those plans as we'll move to get 1 to maybe 2 neighborhoods up and running for the block watch. So we're excited about that. The fire department has hosted IBC, Inspirational Baptist Church. They had a number of other different events that they've been involved in. On July 14th, they had a We Thrive event where they were checking blood pressure. That went very well. There are also a number of Saturday programs that involve fitness that are, again, brought to us by our wonderful fire department. On September 9th, we will have a sickle cell walk. I highly encourage all community members, businesses, and others to be involved in that. Sickle cell is a very widespread disease in African American community, but for a lot of unfortunately, we don't have a lot of the numbers. We don't have a lot of ways of getting research dollars to actually bring about cures. And so this walk is going to go a long way in kind of helping us do our part and bring about awareness for a lot of the members in our community that are actually dealing with that. On July 23rd, which is a Monday, Forest Park Fire Department has been gracious enough to extend themselves to do a safety first training with some students through the STEM lab over on Kemper Road at the Kemper Road Christian Church. They are hosting a bicycle engineering camp, and our community has come together to help in that work. There's a grant that was received for the STEM lab in order to put that free program on for students at Winton Woods Middle School and other surrounding communities. And Park Place Restaurant is donating goods as well as shooters, and so it's been a really nice community effort. And so if the public does want to come out on July 23rd between 11 and 1 p.m. at Kemper Road Christian Church, they are more than welcomed. I also like to lastly say the Omniplex opening last week or a couple weeks ago, last week was very nice, and so Mr. and Mrs. Spasati have done a really good thing. The cookies were fabulous. I think I had 1 or 2 peanut butter cookies, so it was really great, and so I'm really excited to see them doing well. That concludes my report at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Any questions for Councilwoman Nuss? Hearing none, Councilwoman Nuss, I have no items on the agenda for the work session of the 23rd. Do you have any to add?
I do not, sir.
Next report is Ways and Means, Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes. 2 or 3 things about economic development. The first of these is the golf outing, which is taking place this week. And Paul, can they still join? Yes. Thank you. For your registration, you can get the opportunity to participate as well as have lunch. And so I encourage you, if you're a golfer, to look into that. The second thing is I want you to direct your attention to the departmental reports. There's a lot of developmental activity that's going on. The biggest of those, of course, is the Magna Machine expansion, but there are some other things in the works, and I don't want to get into those too much because they're still in the planning stages. And then the final thing is, don't forget Jazz in the Park, the first weekend in August. And the headliner is Alice Bugnon, if you know Jazz. So I'm excited about that.
Any questions for Councilwoman Herbie? Councilwoman Herbie, I have 3 items on the agenda for the work session. The strategic plan, mall assessment reduction, and third one is outstanding note reissues. Do you have any to add? Next report is community development, Mr. Burns.
Could I mention one thing? I just want to remind council, send me any issues that you have about the strategic plan in advance of the work session next week. Thank you.
Mr. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have no report. However, I would answer any questions if there are any.
Any questions for Mr. Burns?
Mr. Burns, when will the next Winton Woods School District meeting and council meeting be?
We haven't had one in a while, and frankly, we haven't been able to just sync our schedules up well. So considering it's the summer, I would imagine we would want to do that in September when school starts.
Any other questions for Mr. Burns? Hearing none, Mr. Burns, I have one item on the agenda for you for the work session, community reinvestment area. Do you have any to add?
No, I do not.
Next item, next committee is Law Committee, Councilwoman Collins.
Mr. Mayor, I do not have a report from the Law Committee at this time.
Any questions for Councilwoman Collins? And one item on the agenda for the work session, that's liquor license request for Cancun Mexican Bar and Grill. Do you have any to add?
No, I do not.
Next committee report is Human Resources Committee, Councilwoman Holt.
I do not have a report tonight, thank you.
Any questions for Councilwoman Holt? Councilwoman Holt, I have no items on the agenda for you. Do you have any to add?
No, I do not.
Next report is Public Improvement and Facilities, Councilwoman Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to report that the We Thrive Fitness Summer Fitness series have had a great turnout, and we're very excited about the exercise programs and the trainers who've come out to the community to provide services for our residents. Also, I want to take opportunity to brief council on an amazing opportunity for the city for an innovative fitness system. And so I would like to brief council at the next work session regarding a partnership with National Fitness Campaign Outdoor Weight Circuit Training System. There's only one in Ohio, and Forest Park, if we choose to, would be the second city to have a fitness center, outdoor fitness center. So that completes my report.
Any questions for Councilwoman Moore? Hearing none, Councilwoman Moore, I have no items for you. Do you want to add the one about the fitness center?
Yes.
Outdoor, did you say?
Yes, it's the National Fitness Campaign Outdoor System. And we have an opportunity to secure a $30,000 grant towards the purchase of the outdoor facility, but I just wanted to brief council on it.
Okay. Thank you. Next report is, next committee is Intergovernmental Relations and Communication. That's my committee. I have no report. I'll answer any questions if there are any. Also, there are no items on the agenda for that committee for the work session on the 23rd. We'll move to item number 6, the mayor's report. The only reports that I would have would be to add to, just make us aware that next Monday, obviously, is the work session. Then the following Monday is a 5th Monday, which would be the 30th, and we do not have a meeting scheduled for that. So bear in mind that the 4th of August, which is the Jazz in the Park Fest, will be taking place before we have another regular council meeting. And in addition to what has already been said, I would just like to add that this is a free concert. There will be food trucks and vendors. There will be activities for children. This is it's in one of our parks, so it's an alcohol-free event. And also, it is a pet-free event, especially for those folk who would wish to come and not leash their pets. It's to everybody's advantage not to have animals running loose. That would end my report. I'll answer any questions if there are any. Next item on the agenda is item number 7, City Manager's Report. Mr. Hodges.
Thank you. I'll report that the departmental reports have all been completed, included in the council packet, and also placed on file with the clerk of council for public inspection. I'll also report that we'll be working on the next issue of the Progress Community Newsletter, and we'll get that completed in about another week or so. That would conclude my report, but I would respond to any questions if there are any.
Thank you, sir. Next, item 8, other reports. First of those being Law Director, Mr. Wyckoff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have a specific report, except, as you know, I gave an opinion regarding item G, the request for whether there's a request for a hearing or not on the pending liquor license. And when you get to that issue, I'd be happy to answer any questions. I do want to point out, well, I'll wait till you get to that issue.
Okay.
I'll wait.
Any questions for Law Director? Hearing none. Item B, Clerk of Council Report, Mrs. Dirksen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to report that ordinance number 19-2018 and resolution numbers 11-2018 through 14-2018 were posted as required. That concludes my report.
Any questions for Clerk of Council? Hearing none, thank you. Would next move for a motion. Mr. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full on 2 separate days and read by title only ordinance number 20-2018. This ordinance was posted 6 days prior to this meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we suspend the rules requiring the reading in full on 2 separate days and reading by title only ordinance number 2018. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll on the motion?
Burns,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes?
Moore,
Yes.
Nuss.
Yes.
Motion to suspend the rules passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is item number 9, new business, item A, ordinance number 2018. Would the clerk please read this ordinance by title only?
Ordinance number 20-2018, amending annual 2018 appropriation ordinance 17-2018.
Is there a motion, Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, I move adoption of ordinance number 2018.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance number 20-2018. Is there a discussion? Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, this is our third reappropriations ordinance for this year. The totals in the general fund do not change, but there is some shifting among line items within the general fund, primarily related to personnel costs in the finance department, hiring costs in human resources, and some unexpected expenses associated with the senior center. So I would urge adoption of this ordinance.
Any further discussion? Seeing no one, would the clerk please call the roll on 20-2018?
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes?
Moore,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Ordinance 20-2018 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is there a motion? Mr. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full and read by title only resolutions number 15-2018 through 18-2018. These resolutions were posted 6 days prior to the meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we suspend the rules requiring the reading in full and read by title only resolutions number 15-2018 through 18-2018. Is there a discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on the motion to suspend?
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes?
Moore,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Motion to suspend the rules passes 7-0. Next item on the new business is item B, resolution number 15-2018. Would the clerk please call the roll, read that item by title only?
Resolution number 15-2018, adopting tax budget for 2019 and submitting same to the Hamilton County Auditor.
Is there a motion? Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, I would move adoption of resolution number 15-2018.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we'll adopt Resolution 15-2018. Is there discussion? Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, this is the time of year when we do our tax budget, which is essentially a type of tax forecast or budget forecast that we do mid-year and we submit to the auditor to justify the tax revenue that we receive. And as was pointed out in the work session prior to this, or the public hearing prior to this, the tax budget is out of line by about $1 million in expenses, but that is primarily due to inflation in projected budgeting, and it is likely to be absorbed by speaking with the department heads and being able to cut back in areas where it will not affect personnel or affect programs. And I would urge adoption of this resolution.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on Resolution 15-2018?
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie.
Yes.
Resolution 15-2018 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda, item C, Resolution 16-2018. Would the clerk please read this resolution by title only?
Resolution number 16-2018. A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Lebanon Ford for the purchase of city vehicles through the State of Ohio bidding process and equipment through a single source supplier.
Is there a motion, Councilwoman Nuss?
Yes, I motion that. I'm sorry, do I at this time take any questions about this?
Excuse me?
Do I need to take any questions about
No, you need to you have to make the motion first.
I motion that we authorize the city manager to enter into this lease agreement with Lebanon Ford for the purchase of the city vehicles.
Second.
Second, but can you speak up or into the mic because I can't hear you?
Would
Thank
you like
you.
me to repeat it?
Now, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 16-2018. Is there a discussion, Councilwoman Nuss?
No, this came before council at last session, and we agreed and moved forward in the master lease with PNC Bank. And so this is within their budget, and I would urge adoption of it.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on Resolution 16-2018?
Johnson,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
Resolution 16-2018 passes 7-0. Next item is item D, Resolution 17-2018. Would the clerk please read this resolution by title only?
Resolution number 17-2018, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Mattrey Arms and Ammunition for the disposal, sale, or of forfeited and unclaimed firearms.
Is there a motion, Councilwoman Herbie?
I move adoption of resolution number 17-2018.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolutions 17-2018. Is there a discussion, Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, this is the first of two resolutions relating to the disposal of obsolete and unclaimed firearms. This first one involves firearms that have come into our possession through evidence, recovered, stolen, but never claimed and found, etc. Historically, the police department trades these items to a police supply company for new and needed equipment, and they're proposing to do this the same time around. The last time was in 2008. This time, the police department's arranged a tentative proposal with Mattrey Arms and Ammunition to trade these above firearms for 15 carbine rifles and associated equipment valuing at $22,535. This allows each police vehicle to be equipped with one of these rifles, and I would urge adoption of this resolution.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on Resolution 17-2018?
Moore,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Resolution 17-2018 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is item E, Resolution 18-2018. Will the clerk please read this resolution by title only?
Resolution number 18-2018, a resolution authorizing the city manager to dispose of city-owned obsolete firearms.
Is there a motion? Councilwoman Herbie.
I would move adoption of resolution number 18-2018.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 18-2018. Is there a discussion, Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, this is the second of these resolutions and allows the police department to sell 12 obsolete shotguns to current sworn Forest Park police officers at their estimated market value. Montre Arms has valued these shotguns at $100 each and will ask the sworn officers to pay for them. This parallels the custom, longstanding practice that we've had of allowing the police officers, when they retire, to purchase their service weapons. And so I would urge adoption of this resolution.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on 18-2018?
Nuss,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt. Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 18-2018 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is item F, resolution number 19-2018. Would the clerk please read this resolution in full?
Resolution number 19-2018, a resolution to concur with the city manager's action to proceed with the demolition of a structure at 805 Hellsworth Drive, Forest Park, Ohio 45240. Whereas the home located at 805 Hellsworth Drive, Forest Park, Ohio 45240 became uninhabitable since November 2016 and has since remained vacant, unfit for human habitation, and imminently dangerous to the public health, safety, and welfare. And whereas city officials have to no avail made several attempts to notify and motivate the owners of the property to secure the property from children and intruders and eliminate its existence as an unsafe public nuisance. And whereas on May 4th, 2018, the building department issued unsafe building order number V18-001 to Herbert E. Thomas and Miriam L. Thomas. And whereas on June 8th, 2018, a condemned place card was placed on the structure by the building department providing building notice that said uninhabitable house is considered an unfit dwelling unit and that the structure is dangerous and unsafe. And whereas the property is in a state of deterioration and compliance with the unsafe building code has not been met, and whereas a notice of condemnation report of inspection and evaluation for the property was sent by certified mail to all interested parties on June 8, 2018, and whereas the Forest Park Board of Building Appeals conducted a public hearing on July 10, 2018 to determine if the structure at 805 Hellsworth Drive is subject to demolition by the building department and to consider any objections to the demolition and thereupon determine that the recommendation to demolish be accepted. And whereas there's no evidence that the owners or other parties with a legal interest in the property will voluntarily comply with said unsafe building order or otherwise take the necessary action to eliminate the unsafe and unfit dwelling unit at 805 Hellsworth Drive, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Forest Park, Ohio. Section 1, that the council hereby declares a nuisance the structure located at 805 Hellsworth Drive, Forest Park, Ohio 45240, which is substantially damaged by abuse and neglect and has remained vacant since before November 2016, unfit for human habitation and imminently dangerous to the public's health, safety, and welfare. Section 2, that council hereby concurs with the city manager's action to proceed with the demolition and removal of the structure and contents located at 805 Hillsworth Drive, Forest Park, Ohio 45240. Section 3. This resolution shall be in full force and take effect from and after its passage.
Is there a motion, Mr. Burns?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move for the adoption of Resolution 19-2018.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 19-2018. Any discussion, Mr. Burns?
Yeah, just a short discussion. As read, this property has been uninhabitable since before November of 2016. The staff has attempted to reach out to the owner of those properties per the ordinances required, with the timelines required for response. And the condemnation notices have been posted. This is an unfortunate situation. However, the property has been deemed unsafe to the community at large, and the neighbors surrounding that house have complained as well for over 2 years. And with that, I would urge the adoption of Resolution 19-2018.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on Resolution 19-2018?
Burns,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Nuss.
Yes.
Resolution 19-2018 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is item G, a motion. Councilwoman Collins.
Yes, I move to direct the Clerk of Council to notify the Ohio Department of Liquor Control that the City of Forest Park does not request a hearing regarding a liquor license request for Tres Hermanos Grocery Store LLC, DBA El Aguila, 2248 Waycross Road, Forest Park, Ohio, 45240.
Okay.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the motion to direct the Clerk of Council to notify the Liquor Department that we do not request a hearing on the requested liquor license. Is there a discussion?
Yes.
Excuse me, before, I'm going to deviate just a little bit so that the law director can give us the benefit of what he has found before we get into our discussion and vote. Mr. Wyckoff?
Thank you. Essentially, we're looking at this from two different issues. The one issue is, do we have a basis to object to the liquor department? The police department has already waived off on this issue, and there's, by statute, there's certain qualifications that we could use to object. None of those apply here. So the liquor license objection doesn't exist under the liquor laws of the state of Ohio for this type of permit. So then we look at, and this is what I mentioned last council meeting, what our business use is for this property, and if it falls into any of our current restrictions. Right now, it's listed under the business use of being a grocery store with a subsection of a delicatessen. And we see that all sorts of places, whether it's a big store like Kroger's or a smaller store. People go in, they might buy a pound of turkey to take home, but they also say, hey, can you make me a sandwich while you're back there? So the permitted uses under Forest Park's code apply here. It's not a restaurant, it's not a bar, so any of our prohibitions or restrictions on those businesses simply don't apply. So, you know, from both standpoints, it's a lawful business, and from the liquor department, being a lawful business is not grounds to say, well, we don't want to sell liquor or beer at a grocery store for on-site consumption.
Okay, Councilwoman Collins,
Yes.
discussion.
No, staff's recommendation not to lodge an objection is strictly looking at the issue from a practical standpoint, that in our opinion, it is clearly a grocery store and not a bar or a lodge. It does not have what may be considered a small cafe, which included which, if included in stores like Jungle Gyms or the future concepts for Kroger stores, would not seem at all unusual that they may serve beer or wine along with their cafe food menu. So we would not want to see council start to box itself in with an objection in principle that may be too limited to future business opportunities. In addition, there may be a legal perspective, but if at best it would only be that perhaps council has a basis to lodge an objection. Thus, I move to direct the clerk of council to notify the Ohio Department of Liquor Control that the City of Forest Park does not request a hearing regarding a liquor license request for Trey Hermanos, DBA El Aguila. And I urge the rest of council to agree.
Any further discussion? Question, Mr. Barnes?
No, I just wanted to thank everyone for doing the appropriate research to this. This is somewhat of a unique situation. And I think we just owe it to ourselves to understand thoroughly before we vote. So I know we were prepared to do that last week, but I think taking the extra time to review this gives us a better perspective. So I just want to thank everyone.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item H, a motion. Councilwoman Herbie.
I would move to receive the general fund summary report as contained in the departmental reports.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we receive the general fund summary report as contained in the departmental report. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Is there any other business to come before the body? Any other business to come before the body? Hearing none, meeting is